Like, we're doing this a really weird time, guys. Pardon us.
Yeah, I saw Ron at the waterfront when I was setting up the credit card machines, and I'm like, "Go home. We're doing an episode." He was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, man, you got to get home so you can watch it." And he's like, "Oh man." So I did run into another guy in Elwood today though that told me how much he liked the fact that we do comic reviews, which is like super weird. You would think that like, you know, if you're gonna call yourself like a comic podcast or a podcast about comics, that you might want to, you know,
Read
do
them.
do something like, review comics.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
yeah,
even just read like the stuff that's kind of relevant today would be not the worst thing ever.
See a difference in your pet
right.
from day one
Yeah,
with proven nutrition from
Yeah.
definitely a
Born at
thing.
PetSmart.
So,
So
good Lord, your
strong.
TV is loud.
And now at
Hey,
PetSmart.
Dad.
There you go.
Dad, thank you. Turn down. Thank you.
Like it's not as bad now, so you're good.
Okay. Yeah, he
So
turned it down a couple notches.
so good.
So,
So yeah, it's Friday. How about that, weirdos? We're like, we're fucking doing this on Friday. It's weird.
mm,
Um, yeah. So
off the
yesterday kind
beaten.
of got away from all of us. It
Mhm.
didn't quite kick the way we needed it to. Really sorry about that. But hey, you know what? We're both grown adults that have no real party life anymore. We're just
That's
we're
true.
we're
That's
fucking
true.
old. This is what we do on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. So,
Yeah, I
although,
was playing
I mean,
World
I,
of Warcraft before we started this.
I mean, I used to be at Cranberry till 8 on Fridays,
Um,
covering, while they played D&D, but now I don't have to do that. So,
yeah.
um, anyway, so if anyone's looking for a part-time job, um, we are hiring one part-time, about 20 hours a week in Cranberry. If you're interested, please email cranberry@ndcomics.com. Please email the resume. Even if you don't have a resume, just say, I don't have a resume, but I'd really like to work there. Can I get an interview? And we
Mhm.
will do what we can for you. Um, so there's that. Uh, we announced today Robert Hack will be at the con. Um, that fell into place very quickly. So we're gonna have the king, Sabrina's awesome weird uncle. Um, we'll call it that because I was like, it can't be her dad because he didn't
No,
create Sabrina, but
no.
he's definitely the
He's the
the
creepy
weird
uncle.
uncle. He's the
Yeah.
creepy weird uncle.
He's the
If you
Uncle
like,
Fester.
yeah, there you go.
He's Uncle
Um, but I don't know if I'd go that far, but I like Rob. He's a lot of fun.
Fester.
Um, he's 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 a great artist. He does this awesome chalk stuff. Um, I remember the first time I ever met him, I was across from him at a con in Altoona. It was in a hotel like conference room, pretty much. Like there
Mhm.
were maybe 12 total vendors in that tiny room, and it like was an inner circle and then an outer circle, and that was it. And he was there and he's drawing and he's doing stuff, and then all of a sudden I just hear crunch, and then and I like look up and he holds it up and it's just awesome. Like, and I'm just like, man, I've never seen anybody work chalks like that. That's awesome. Um, so that's my first time meeting Robert Hack story. And he had just signed on to do um Sabrina, like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina at that time. Um, and he's done a lot of work for Archie, he's done work for Titan, a lot of Doctor Who stuff. Oh, excuse me. See, I'm old on Friday. It sucks. Um, So make sure you come out and check him out. He's also just a really fun guy to talk to. He always has a bucket or a basket of like quick sketches that he does every day. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram or Twitter. Um, I'm sorry, X. Um, you'll see like he'll post stuff every day, and it's just stuff that he does like doodling to just
Yeah.
keep practicing. And that's the kind of stuff that he just kind of like puts in this basket, and you can just buy them for whatever. And it's like it's super crazy awesome. He does a lot of cool stuff like that. I have a somewhere. Yeah, I have a Sabrina from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina show that he drew. Um, he drew Salem the cat on the Funko Pop box.
Nice.
So it's got a big black cat on it. It's awesome. So
There you go.
yeah, and if you've watched the TV show on Netflix, all the art during the theme, like the intro theme, that's all his art that they adapted and kind of animated. It's a lot of fun. Other than that, I don't really think there's a lot of nerd news besides the fact
No.
we're 2 weeks from the show. Very excited to get this going.
It was the end of X-Men 97, which
Oh yeah, but we're gonna talk about that
Yeah.
at the end. Like we're gonna totally
but
spoil the
technically it
fuck
was
out of
news.
this.
Oh yeah.
So, oh, by
Technically
the
it was
way,
news.
so the show's been sold out for a long time, right? And I love when people are like, "Hey, I'd love to be a guest at your show," and I'm like, "Dude, the show's in 2 weeks. I'm sold out. What do you expect right now, right?" But the guy who voiced uh Apocalypse in the last episode of the season emailed me today to see if we had space in the show, and I was like, unfortunately, man, I don't. I loved you in Lost though, because he played uh he was what is the name? Simi, I think. He was Mr. Echo's brother, who was he ended up being the dead priest in the plane, like the drug dealer brother that
I never watched
oh,
it. I did not like that show,
dude.
so I never
Oh
watched
my,
it. I have no
really?
issue.
Like,
I don't like a lot of mainstream television, and most of it bored me. If it wasn't
okay.
something, that made my mind think, which I was told, oh no, there's all these twists and turns.
Yeah.
And I watched like maybe 5 episodes of it, and I guessed everything without spoilers or anything.
Hmm.
And I'm like, this isn't hard to figure
Right.
out. So
So this is how Lost wound up in my life, right? So first off, I love the show. I do. I think it's great. I have a Mr. Echo sitting there looking at me in the corner. The action figure, the freaking McFarlane figure. Somewhere I think I have a Hatch playset too. Anyway, so I was living in an apartment, well, like a double wide trailer with my friend and his now wife, me and my wife, and at the time girlfriend, fiance maybe, and our other friend, right? And our other friend was like he had just or Lost season 2 was just about to premiere, and he's like, "Are you guys gonna watch this with me?" And I'm like, "No." Like I was like, "I don't really want to." I was like, "But I hear good things." I was like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm off. Let's watch it." So we watched the season 2 first episode, and I'm like, "That was really good TV. Holy crap!" And he goes, "Here's season 1 on DVD," and I said, "Okay, cool." So between the first episode of season 2 airing and the second episode of season 2 airing, I watched the entire first season. Like I fell into it real hard. And then it was like one of those things, like my house was one of those places where every week we would sit there and watch it. It was, it was a thing. But what really solidified my humor in it and my love for it was there was a website called the Tail Section, right? Because the plane breaks up and it's the nose section is the first season guys, and then season 2 is the tail section guys. That's where you meet like Ana Lucia and Mr. Echo and all these other people. And in there was they would do these shorts with action figures, right? and it was always like some random character ended up on the island. And one of them, one of my favorite one was Indiana Jones ends up on the island. And it's so they do like this whole thing where it's like, oh, like this guy is paying for all the like for him to go and find the island because he's still searching for the island because he got kicked off of it, which is a storyline from like season 5. So so the crew's there and they're like, oh man, like what's going on? And then they're like, oh no, and like the Jin's character looks like he's screaming because well he was screaming,
Yeah.
but he's screaming. He's like, oh no, Dr. Jones, look out, look out! And Indiana Jones is like, oh no, what's up, short round? And like a giant ball like rolls down and it just crushes everybody, and it eventually kills everyone but Hurley. Um, and Hurley's the only one there left. And he's like, oh, I'm the only one left. This is so sad. I'm just gonna have to kill myself. So he drowns himself in a giant bucket of ranch dressing, like Dharma ranch dressing. It's hilarious. Hilarious.
Fuck.
So like if you there's one where like Voldemort ends up on the island. Like there's some really funny things on there. So I don't know if the tail section still exists. I haven't tried to go there in a long time, but it was a lot of fun to watch that kind of stuff.
So
So
basically, Robot Chicken.
it wasn't even that professional.
Wow.
Like it was literally like
wow. Let's say it a lot. Considering
Right.
how bad
it was like, hey, right? It was a little more like, do you remember the old I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC, like where they did the action figures and they would like talk about each other's movies, and then they eventually had a nightclub, like where Hulk was the bouncer. Do you remember that at all? Okay, you need to look up I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC. It was
Okay.
the play on the I'm a Mac and I'm a PC
Okay.
commercials. Remember those?
Yeah.
So okay. All right, now that we've really diverged off of things, I guess we can talk about some comics and then we'll talk about some other. So I don't remember who's first. We're gonna find out in a second. Maybe
Maybe.
Orc. Yeah, hold on. I accidentally closed that window.
Meh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say my honorable mention has to be the Masters of the Universe book
hmm
because it was really good actually. So because they
Oh,
did the
yeah?
whole it was a whole origin like before like Masters of the Universe existed,
Mhm.
which is really good.
Hmm.
And it was a lot about Hordak and the like how he started manipulating Keldor. So
Nice.
it,
mean,
it
as
was
long
pretty
as-
good.
I'm a big fan of Hordak, so I'm
Yeah,
excited to read that book.
yeah, it's pretty
All
good.
right, here we go. This is better.
Yeah. Madripoor
You're first.
Nights. Okay. This is Madripoor Nights number 4.
Hold on. Is that the Hulk or
No.
is that
No.
is it Weapon H?
No, it's just a really big hand zombie
Oh,
that just has green skin. That's
okay.
all. Like they never
That's
go
a
into
little
any
sad.
detail beyond that. Yeah.
Okay.
But the book starts out with Cap and Wolverine discussing like how Wolverine met Natasha and how their friendship and how he saved her from the hand like the very first time they met. And he also tells Cap a little bit about Weapon X because this all he met Natasha before the whole him getting kidnapped by Weapon X and everything. So, and Cap kind of was like, I had no idea. Excuse me. And he's like, these the kind of things should have never happened.
Mm.
And And as they're in this car driving towards Natasha, Natasha is fighting the hand zombie that you see on the cover here.
Hmm.
And she's fighting him, and every time she gets sliced with his sword, her skin turns purple. And apparently that's preparing her body to get taken over by the hand shadow assassin,
Okay.
like the head shadow assassin, who's basically a big puddle of goo. And
Yeah.
and she of course kicks his butt a couple times, but she doesn't realize that he just gets up and just continues fighting. Like no matter how many times she tries to put him down, he just gets right back up, and they just continue fighting. And then Wolverine and Cap come crashing down, um, kill all the little hand ninjas that just disappear as soon as they get hurt, and they they start fighting the giant here. Cap, there's a really cool page where Cap like just takes him like hand to hand and just literally beats the big guy there up with his bare hands, and it was really cool action sequence.
That's awesome.
And the goo uh well, ninja master, whatever you want to call him, he grabs Natasha and he swallows her. He starts like he just opens his mouth and just grabs her and kind of does the whole "I'm pulling you in." Cap dives in, grabs her hand, and then Wolverine grabs Cap's hand and he digs his claw in, and they're pulling. And at the end, the goo like kind of explodes, and you think, oh, they're out, they're fine. No, they all end up getting possessed by this guy. Like there's a piece of them in all of them. So like you see them, they're all glowing kind of purple and smoky. And so this was kind of a really big action sequence. Really good, I want to say good action period. But it's moving the story along. I like where this is going. This is kind of flown under the radar. But I'm really enjoying it, and the art's really good. So again, this is Chris Claremont's writing, so it's good stuff. I'm gonna give this a solid 2 scrambled eggs, 3 pieces of bacon, some hash browns. Just really solid book. So if you're not reading some of these Wolverine minis, my suggestion is try to read some of these because they're pretty solid.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. My book, Rat City #2. Weirdly, all my books this week are #2s. Weirdly.
Yeah, nice.
Super weird.
I was gonna say all of mine would be 4 except 1, and I was like, damn, I could have had all 4s. So
We're just 2s and 4s this week. We're only
yeah,
even.
we're
It's
even.
fine.
Yeah.
This is an evenly weird week. We're on Friday. All our books are even numbers. Anyway, so yeah, so this book picks literally right up where the last one left off. In Peter's apartment, he's staring at we'll call it like an energy ghost of Spawn, because this is in the future. Then you find out that the guys that at PTS that gave them all their enhancements want people to come back because they all had some kind of weird thing go on where people saw Spawn, like everyone that got enhancements saw Spawn, which was to me a little bit bizarre, but whatever.
I thought it was pretty cool though. This is very, very, taught. I could see this being done in the 90s, like when the 2099 stuff was going on. This could have been Spawn 2099, and it probably
someone called it that today while I was in Elwood. called it Spawn 2099. And I was like, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um anyway, so his buddy Reese also goes in there. Like the PTS is doing free upgrades that are really them just trying to dissect and find out what's going on with these nanites. So they go to the thing. His buddy Reese goes in there. They take off his arms because he has prosthetic hands, and they check the nanites. They're like, the nanites are fine. I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, when they figure out that they're gonna rip him apart, he he gets like this cool like green spawn like energy thing around his eyes turn green, and he basically turns into kind of a violator. Like that was the vibe I was getting from like, oh, so you're gonna be the new violator.
I was getting Cygor vibes from him,
Or
to be
yeah,
honest.
maybe Cygor. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you Cygor. Either way, big, bulky, hulking,
Yeah, yeah.
crazy, strong dude with no arms. Um, so Peter eventually is like, "Where's my buddy?" And he's trying to get into the room. And as he's doing this, he's getting that same kind of stuff. He watches Reese get completely annihilated by the security guys, and he loses his shit to the point where he becomes the new Spawn. Like the very last page is him becoming the new Spawn. This book moved well, was well paced, the dialogue was great, the art was phenomenal. Um, I'm I'm giving this book like a full tremendous 12. Like this book, I'm not a Spawn fan, and this is a great
Yeah.
book. Like I
This
really
is this
enjoy
is
it.
probably out of all the new stuff that's come out. This may be the most intriguing out of all of them, you know.
Yeah, I heard Salmon Twitch is still not good. Um,
Ugh.
it's just slow from what I heard. And then what was it? There's another one, right?
Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but like I said, I enjoy it. I like Erica's writing a lot. I think she's capturing the character and moving the story along in a good pace.
Yeah.
Um,
And the art feels very 90s Spawn.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very, I'm looking at him like, wow, that they really captured that 90s Todd art style. So,
All right. I love
uh,
this cover, by the way.
oh yeah, yeah.
I just think it looks gorgeous.
Yes, this is the Weapon X-Men #4. This is the conclusion of it. So this is the last issue of this. And I have to say, it ended really anticlimactic, but still good. So, as with all the books, you're getting the um origin of one of the Wolverines here, and this time it's Old Man Logan's, which most of us already know. You know how he got tricked by Mysterio and killed all the X-Men, and he refused to pop his claws ever again, type deal. Now we left off the third book, them making a deal with Onslaught, and they come back into this other dimension, and Old Man Logan pretty much just turned around and betrays all of the other Wolverines. Like he literally kicks all their asses, and it's not even close. Like I figured maybe Weapon X Wolvie probably would have had the best shot. He just beats the crap out of all of them. The only one who actually kind of survives is obviously Zombie Wolverine. And they're all tied up. They all have the little gauntlets, so they can't, fight back, the whole 9 yards. And on Old Man gets Jean to come, Phoenix to come down, and he ends up betraying her. to Onslaught. Onslaught gets the power of the Phoenix inside of him. And what ends up doing what is the Phoenix does its thing where it reborns, and when it reborns, it purifies everything. So what it ends up doing is it actually purified Onslaught. And
What?
Onslaught, yeah, he ends up like kind of going through a philosophical thing of like thinking about what he was doing is like, this is what he's like, I found myself now, and you know, I realized all the everything I did, and I'm going to, you know, go away. But he's like, before I go, he gives Jean a piece of the Phoenix back to her.
Right.
Old man Logan knew this was going to happen. He had a hunch because of, you know, he just had the feeling that this was going to happen. So Jean pretty much just asks all the other Wolverines, do you want to go back to where you came from? The whole 9 yards. Of course, Weapon X goes back to the Age of Apocalypse era. Fatty Wolverine from Earth X gets put back, but he ends up getting back together with Jean in his universe, and they kind of make up, which is very nice because you feel really bad for Earth X Fatty Wolverine.
Right.
So he gets his happy ending. Everybody kind of gets their happy ending except Zombie Wolverine, who he's like, well, there's nothing left on my planet. Everybody is a zombie. There's nobody to feed on. Can you put me somewhere? Like, he's like, it doesn't have to be like intelligent population, but I'm hungry. So Jean's like, I have a place. And she snaps her fingers. He gets transported to a dimension where all of the characters are man things. And he's like, this is bullshit. I'm not a vegetarian. And it's hilarious. Poor zombie Wolverine gets shafted in this series so bad.
Wow.
And then finally it's just old man Logan and Jean. And she asks, would you like to go back? And he's like, there's nothing for me to go back to. He's like, but I'd like to see a happy ending before, you know, my time's up.
Heyo.
And Jean's like, so would I. So you see the end, basically Jean and old man Logan kind of walking hand in hand at the end of the
Aw.
book. So it was kind of a very nice ending to the book. A little weird that the Phoenix they used the Phoenix for this, like to kind of reset Onslaught from bad guy to kind of realizing like what he was. It was okay, you know, like I said, I really liked the series as a whole. It was fun. But I'm just gonna give this plain eggs. Just because I feel like they could have did a little bit more with this. But plain eggs, give me one sausage link because the fighting between the Wolverines was pretty.
Yeah.
And then just maybe coffee or something. You know, it wasn't like the most spectacular ending ever, but it was probably better than what most people thought it was going to be with this.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
All right. I'm more interested in the good Onslaught. It's weird. It's a weird concept in my brain.
Yeah. And the design of them was pretty interesting too, because basically almost kind of looked angelic.
Ooh.
So it was,
Well, he always did kind of look angelic.
yeah. But with the white, you see him like the white really enhances it. So it really was pretty interesting. So
That's cool. All right, my next book is Uncanny Valley number 2. Number 2.
I love the He-Man homage in the front cover
Right?
there. That was awesome.
Right? Like it's this book is just this is the most ridiculous and yet fun book I've read in a really long time. So it starts out with the kid and his grandpa at a diner, and like he's like, I'm not really hungry, and the grandpa just orders for him anyway. And he's like, how did they not know that you're a cartoon? He's like, oh, as it's kind of like the perception filter, right? Like the older you get, the less you believe and the less you can see stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like the whole like what is it? Peter Pan, where you don't believe in fairies anymore when you get old
Okay.
type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. When you become an adult, you lose your childhood.
Right. So the kid and his grandpa are driving to still try to get away from everybody. Um Oliver and Pecos Pete are the guys. So his mom has one of the crows in a cat carrier and is trying to like she's like called 911, did nothing happen. So she's trying to get more information from the crow. The crow just said the first will not be denied. None will rest until they get what they need, our world. And she like throws the bird in the cage out the door of the car. Um, so Pecos and Oliver have a cool bonding moment where he's like, but I'm not like you. He's like, yeah, you are. Just try this. And he did like the blow you're on your thumb thing, and his ears pop out like a cartoon. And he's like,
Hmm.
what the hell? He's like, I can hear the ocean. Um, so he's like, okay, I guess that's fine. I kind of have powers. And then they wreck into or an anvil falls on the front of the car, sends them both flying out the front window. Uh, Pete grabs Oliver's hand. He grabs he's got his other hand on like a little bit of a root, and then so instead of a coyote, they're dingoes. So there's a dingo shows up with like a stick of dynamite, and Oliver's like, "Is that dynamite?" And he like lights it. And he's like, "Do you trust me?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess." So they both jump off, and he goes, um, and like, and Oliver's like, we're gonna die." He's like, no, just put your hands in your pocket, start whistling a tune, and just start walking. So he does this, and they start walking on air, and so they get him close enough um to a side where he catches him and gets him back up, and he's like Pecos pulls out a gun out of his pocket and he shoots him. He's like, eat lead, dingo. He's like, where did you get that gun from? He's like, oh, it was in my pants. Like it was in my pocket. And so they're trying to get around these dingoes, and all of a sudden Oliver looks back and Pete is now dressed like Bob Ross, and he's painting a tunnel on the side of a like a rock face, like very, very cartoony. And he's like, where did you get that paint stuff? He's like, it was in my pocket. So they end up walking into the tunnel, and the dingoes end up slamming onto the side of the rock like they would, right? And then at the end, there's a page just goes, "My lord, another portal has been opened." And the person on the throne goes, "Do we know where it's going?" And they said, "Yes, we have it." And like, excellent, let's go greet them on the other side. To be continued. I'm pretty sure that the evil one is whatever their version of Maleficent is. Because that's kind of how it looks. And I believe Maleficent was the first villain in Disney, right? Because wasn't Snow White the first big Disney movie? And she's the
Maleficent is Sleeping Beauty.
or she's in Sleeping Beauty, right? Well,
And Sleeping Beauty
anyway.
was after Snow White. Snow White had the Wicked Witch.
Right. Well, then I don't know. but it looks like Maleficent. But it's very good. This book is funny. It's smart. Um, it's good for most ages, but if you're like 40 or older, you're gonna get most of these jokes more than the other people will. Um, so I just recommend checking it out. I'm gonna give this. Oh man, I'm gonna give this a bowl that is big enough to fit the entire box of Cocoa Pebbles in it. Um, with like probably what, like a half gallon of milk in it, so that you can sit and watch all your Saturday morning cartoons until you're done eating for 4 hours. Like, because that's how this is, and you want to get a sugar rush on it. So I loved it. It was great. Check it out.
Okay, here.
Oh, this is the
Since
one
we had
that's
to look
the
it up
not
here.
for. Good job.
Yeah. So, well, before that, Maleficent was the year 1959. The Evil Queen from Snow White was 1937. I had to look that up while we're
Well,
doing
then maybe
that.
it's the Evil Queen and not Maleficent.
Mhm.
But
But Ultimate X-Men #3. I like the flow of the story here of you getting the intros of all the new X-Men. And of course, Peach's art speaks for itself, whether it is your taste or not. Uh, she just does her thing. Basically, we kind of get like a little bit of an origin of the Shadow King, as you see him playing with two girls doing like fortune telling stuff. And then the girls are kind of like, wow, that's creepy. And you just kind of see him, a younger version of him, just kind of sulking. Now they flash forward a little bit. You're getting the full origin of me, how her powers came to be, where she came from. You're getting a lot of underlining family issues in this, because apparently Me's father is kind of a douche, cheats on her mom, is quite abusive. You see this throughout the book. One day after school, a scared cat with a bunch of talismans around its neck finds me, and the owner is, we find out, is basically the Shadow King, just a little bit
ooh.
older. Um, so the cat turns around, and the way he grabbed the cat made the cat flip out. So of course the cat turns around and bites me. Um, she comes home with the cat bite, and she's like, Mom, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go lay down. And she has the cat bite like wrapped and treated and everything, but you start seeing the effects of the Shadow King with the black eye and the weird black ooze thing going on with it. And she gets up and she's kind of cranky. And finally, she can't take the abuse and the way her father is anymore. And of course, the dad hauls off and slaps her. And this causes her to just yell, and that's when her powers emerge. And as her powers emerge, her hair turns white.
Oh.
Oh, there is a little bit of, she was reading a pamphlet or a paper of some sort, and it had a picture of Storm on it. So
Yeah.
she's giving a shout out to OG X-Men in this as well. And then they basically just kick her out because her dad just calls her, I don't need a punk like you in here. Get the F out of my house, you know.
Mm.
And then we go back to current event where it's me and what's her name? The other one, Armor. and they're in school, and it's break recess or gym class. Me gets hit in the head with a soccer ball. Uh, and we get introduced to a new mutant by the name of Nico Minoru. And she's like, "Oh, I see you guys are mutants too."
Nico Monroe, like from from NYX, like the one who ends up being oh, what the hell is her name? I'm gonna look it up.
But they're like mutants too with question mark, and that's how this book ends. Like I said, I like the flow of the story. You're getting introduced to new characters in unique ways. You're slowly getting origins through, but very quickly. It's not they didn't use like the whole book for everything, but you're getting a lot of information in a short period of time. But you're still getting like little question marks and little breadcrumbs for down the line. So I'm giving this a solid well, since this is Japanese, I guess breakfast fish sticks, because that's what they eat in Japan.
There.
So but I'm gonna use the Japanese soda. I love that Japanese soda with the little glass ball that you pop down and you drink. So
Right.
it's a it's again, it's a very, if you're into Peach Momoko, you're really enjoying this. If you are not a fan of hers, you're not going to enjoy this. So, take that for what it's worth.
Why can't I find her freaking mutant name?
So,
This is gonna bother me. Yeah, but she was in the Runaways. She wasn't
okay.
wasn't
So-
in NYX.
So this might be a runaway joining the mutants, or this could be a new
She-
enemy.
I mean,
We
she
don't know
is.
yet.
I don't technically know if she's a mutant, because she's part of the Pride from Runaways. Like she's one of the cat people descendants. So,
Well,
but she had
she
the
doesn't
staff
look
of one.
cat-like.
Well, she won't. Like
Yeah.
she looks human, but so the Runaways is crazy because like the Pride are like these descendants of humans that evolved from cats instead of from dolphins,
Apes.
whatever, and apes, and then apes. So they so they just have like a weird connection backstory with some powers, but I don't technically think they're mutants. But they're the Runaways, and she has the staff of one where she can make she can conjure stuff, but it's only one. She can only cast the spell one time with the phrasing, so she has to keep changing the phrasing if she wants to do the same spell over and over and over. So it's very interesting. But I recommend checking out Runaways. It was good. Red Coat number 2 in my
Ooh, I saw
Ghost
that and I knew you were gonna
Machine.
do that.
Yeah, I forgot this came out and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta get this. So um so Simon Pure is the guy, the immortal guy. And it starts out where he's like him and a young Albert Einstein are just beating the crap out of people. Um and he's kind of telling a story of like how he was kind of like not a very good marksman, and he grew up to be a marksman, like he became a good marksman over 100 years. Um so these guys that are running after him have this weird axe, like hatchet axe, and um they strike Simon with it in the side, and the wound keeps reopening and not healing all the way. So they're just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, and they try to leave. The axe keeps bringing up new things, so they go to New York to try to talk to the only other immortal that he knows, who ends up being Benedict Arnold. But he just calls him Benny, which is pretty funny. So Benedict Arnold, like, actually, made money, like he invested a bunch of stuff, because we're now in like the 1800s. And like, so he basically crashes his ball, steals a bunch of food, wants to talk to him about some things, and show him the axe, but he doesn't really want to see it. And then he realizes that it's the axe of lies, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're totally gonna die. You have 3 days." So that's just kind of how it rolls. But most of it is like this weird interaction between young Einstein and Simon trying to get to New York. The Einstein character was kind of annoying, but he was supposed to be a little annoying, I think. But this book was very good. Wasn't as good as the first issue, but it was still very, very good. It's definitely got a good lead up to issue 3 coming. So I'm gonna give this 2 warm breakfast strudels,
Ooh.
like toaster strudels with the frosting, and a cup of tea, Earl Grey, hot. Just because. So, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was very good.
Nice.
All right, that's all of our books for this week. So now we can talk about all kinds of other stuff.
I was gonna say, should we talk about some of these trolls we've been dealing with on the
Oh my God.
Facebook site? I just
Oh,
read
like
the one
one I
that-
just commented on.
with Fetterman Fetterman.
Yeah,
What? Okay. To those who are, if you see a troll on there, guys, try not to engage. We will do our due diligence, research them. I told John to print out their photos, and I will personally escort them out the door if they
Yeah,
decide
but this
to come
guy,
to our show.
his photo is sloth behind a Fetterman statue.
Yeah. And then I
he only has
clicked on
one post on his whole page. And I was
yeah,
like,
so he's just
like,
a troll.
so you're just a troll hiding behind your keyboard. Good job.
Yeah. So
but he was like, he was basically slamming the show because he's like, so the 3 comic book people that still like comics are gonna come to the show and you don't have any celebrities. This is gonna suck. Good luck with that, guys. And I was like, thanks, we'll take that. Like, we enjoy ourselves. We have a lot of people that come and enjoy themselves.
you should be like, there's way more people than you think there. Some people don't like
Right.
celebrities, guys.
Also, like, I think people think that we have some kind of weird, like, beef with Steel City, and we don't.
We don't.
Like,
no.
we're friends with those guys. Like,
Yeah.
like they
I
come
mean-
to our show. We
Yeah.
go to their show. It's
Yeah.
everybody is cool. Like, everybody is fine.
I mean,
Don't
do
know
I
why
personally want to pay the amount of money it takes to get in? No. Do I want to pay some of those celebrities the amount they're asking for? No, but I don't
Yeah.
have to. You know?
I
And that's
can't
my
wait.
right.
I can't wait until Steel City like has to move
Has to
downtown
move in there. Yeah.
because
And
they're
then people
too
are gonna
big.
be bitching.
And then people are all gonna be like, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, why did you not come now? Like, come on. Like, people are like, because like one guy was complaining about it just being downtown, and I was just like, yeah, but like no one's down there. Like, if you know how to use like the any of the apps that help you find parking and find parking for reasonable prices, it's great.
no one wants to put the effort into it.
Right.
That's-
But it's not like downtown is a grid. Like,
Yeah.
there's no oh, I missed my turn and then I can't just go another block and turn. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it works. Like, it's
Yeah.
a grid. Like,
Yeah.
like the part that sucks for some people having to come in is like if you're coming in from 376, you got to come up and then cross over 2 lanes of traffic.
Yes.
If you want to get off that exit. If not,
Yes.
you just go down to the 10th Street bypass, get on that sucker. It takes you all the way down the river right to the convention center. You don't even have to go through downtown. You just take the 10th Street bypass. It's right there.
Yeah.
You come off.
Yeah.
You come off Fort
And
Duquesne, same thing, or Fort Duquesne.
Like I said, we
No.
checked out some of these trolls, and like the one dude is very, I'm looking at it's one of those you see like the partial of the face like this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so you're too afraid to show your face, and your profile is Mr. Wonderful. I was like,
Yep.
okay, I know what kind of person you are.
Listen. I just think it's hilarious. I'm just like, why?
And
would
all
you
of a
even-
sudden, too.
like,
That's
right?
the thing is,
But- So like, but here's the thing, like, and honestly, I don't care. You know why? Because another comment on there is more engagement. You're just helping the algorithm. You're not actually hurting it. You want to hurt the algorithm and you want the show to suck and that post to never get seen. Don't comment at all. That's
Yeah.
how you beat the algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like, but
Well,
whatever. You know what?
like I said-
Like, they're like the people that are shitting on it are the people I don't want to have there anyway. So I'd
Yeah.
rather have
those were
50,
hopefully
I'd rather
those
have
won't be the
50 people show up
Yeah.
and all of them have a blast than have
Yeah.
2,000 people who don't want to be there. So whatever. Like, we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be good. People are gonna be entertained. They're gonna do this. You wouldn't have shows like celebrity shows without shows like this, because this is how they started.
Yeah.
Duh. Like,
And technically, we are having celebrities there. I mean,
our celebrities
it's-
are comic creators.
yeah,
They are
They're just-
celebrities. In fact,
they're not
most
some
of them,
extra from a movie from 20 years ago.
in fact,
Sorry.
most of them have more IMDb credits than a lot of the actors you see at some of the other shows.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, but
Yeah.
whatever. I don't want to get too far into it because I'm not like, I find trolls hilarious because it's just like, wow, man, you really got me. Ha!
Yeah.
Ah, good job, you got me. Versus
I
like,
just find
and
it
it's
kind of weird though. Like it's literally
nah,
3 weeks before our show, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 3
Oh, yeah.
trolls in the last couple
it
of
ha-
days. I'm
nah,
like, huh,
that's just how it works. It's-
huh, okay.
people wait till the end, they want to get their thing in there, or somebody's talking to them about it and they want to do
Yeah.
it. I just find it funny that none of them actually use their own real accounts. And
No, the
I'm
one
just like,
dude
wow.
did.
Oh, the one dude did.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
it was
he-
just like, come on.
And I kind of chuckled. I'm like, you look exactly like the guys that come into the shop too.
Yeah, I know,
beard,
right?
Sleeve tattoo, man
Yep.
titties. I
Tribal.
mean, come on, man. You
Tribal
know,
tat somewhere. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, how about this? If it's not for you, how about you just don't go and you don't comment
Yeah.
on it?
don't comment.
Like,
Yeah.
or tag somebody that you think might actually want to go.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Anyway, all right, let's talk about X-Men. Because now I just want to be done. Thanks, Justin. Fucked up my night. So I think this first season was some of the best writing they've done for any of their TV shows. Period. I don't know if it was the best. What are you doing, Marshall? Hey,
I saw him sneaking.
he's over there. He's sniffing one of my drumsticks. Hi, buddy. Yes, hi.
Oh.
so
you
I-
bad. Said
I
Dad's
really
having a bad
liked-
day.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I really liked how it ended. I thought it was I thought they wrapped up the season well. It was very much so Fatal Attractions at the end, which was cool. It's
No
splitting
onslaught.
into
That threw me
Yeah.
off a little bit. I
right.
was like, wow, okay.
I thought we were gonna get it there for a second,
Yeah,
but then I was
yeah.
like, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that we basically are getting Age of Apocalypse. Like
Yeah,
going
the
into
origin
a
of
full
Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse, not
Yeah,
just a 2-part episode.
yeah.
Um, and
So
that's
so
pretty
for
sweet.
those looking for those spec books, go find that mini series there of the origin of Apocalypse there. Have
Yeah.
fun.
I also think it's cool that we're getting a Scary Son.
Yeah,
Like that's cool. Like we're gonna get more Cable stuff.
yeah.
Like that's actually what I really was excited the most about, and was very
Although
um
my question is, they showed everybody except Morph and Wolverine just disappear. There's no trace of them.
well, I think they're gonna end up being I think they're gonna end up being Horsemen of the like Horsemen of Apocalypse. They're gonna be some of the Horsemen. Because I think that's how Wolverine's gonna get his uh
Well,
adamantium back.
we did see what the Apocalypse pick up the card, Gambit's card there. So it could be Gambit becoming a horseman as well, which he has done in the comics. So
Yep.
that's cool. It should
I
be
mean,
interesting.
Morph obviously wasn't, but
Yeah,
Morph could be literally anyone as a,
yeah,
or maybe
yeah.
he's going to be the protagonist for that chunk of story. Which,
Yeah.
I guess we have to wait till next year to see it. But
Yeah.
I think it wrapped up well. I thought it was good.
Mhm. We
I
got to see
don't.
Bishop at the end. Nice.
Yeah, more
There
Bishop.
we
I
go.
like Bishop. I thought it was very well done and very, very well the whole thing was handled well. The only thing I don't like that, and this is stupid, but I don't like that the whole season was one big arcing story. Like I liked it. The thing I loved about the animated series was like you could watch a 3-part series or 3-part episode or a standalone, and it all made sense and it was all
Yeah.
kind of together. But
Yeah.
this feels like you got to watch the whole season to get the whole story. And that's the only part that I'm like, meh. Like, I don't know if I like
But
that,
but it's only 10 episodes, so it's not like you know, it's not like a 20 episode type, where or 40 episodes back in the day when they used to make cartoons like 40 episodes, and that was season one. By the way, that's what original He-Man was 40 some odd episodes.
oh, dude, the first season of Thundercats was 65 episodes.
Mhm.
It was crazy. We were talking
Yeah.
about that at the waterfront today before I left.
Yeah.
So,
So, 10 episodes is,
that was good.
you can binge it in literally like an afternoon and you're fine, so
Complete side note, the new Doctor Who stuff is kicked on to Disney, and holy shit, is it good? Like, it is very Davies. So if you liked the Eccleston era stuff and the Tennant stuff, this is full on exactly what you want out of it. Shurigatwa is he's like the lovable parts of Tennant with the angsty parts of Eric or of Chris Eccleston. Like it's very interesting how that played out. I like the new companion a lot. And the stories were good. It was very much so Doctor Who. I very much so enjoyed it. So make sure you guys check that out. So new episodes on Fridays.
Since my dad is staying with me, we decided to go to our go-to Star Trek: The Next Generation last night. So we watched a couple episodes.
Season 1 is so weird.
Oh, we did not watch season 1. This was past season 1. I forget what season it is, but I know the episodes. Well, the one where the girl finds out she's a Q.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was the last one. And I think the other one was when all the little, they were having all sorts of issues going on in the ship, and they were trying to figure out what was causing it.
Mhm.
And the first episode we were watching was when Scotty was guest starring,
Oh
as-
yeah.
when they dragged him out of the cube.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Where
So
ship got stuck on the cube and stuck in
yes,
time.
yes,
Yeah. I just rewatched an episode. So Discovery has 2 or 3 episodes left for the series. And this whole season is based on an episode of Next Gen called The Chase, where it's like the humans, the Cardassians, uh the Romulans, and the Klingons. I think that's it. All get together because they have to use their DNA sequences to unlock this message, and they go to this planet and they unlock the message and they find the progenitor leaves a hollow message, and she's talking about how they took their DNA and they sprinkled it into the primordial oozes of all of their planets, so they're all really related, and that's why they're all humanoid. And it was just like, what? So it was really good. It's called The Chase. I think it's like season 5. It's a heavy Picard episode, which is also good. So, but cool. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up pretty well. I will be a special guest on Last Comic Shop tomorrow. We're doing theirs. I don't know if it's live or not, but we're doing the recording it tomorrow. Where I will be talking about the Crow movie and the Crow graphic novel. Which after I turn the recording and streaming of this off, Justin, I will tell you how I landed on those after the rewatch and reread real quick before we head out for the evening. But definitely check it out. Make sure you go to your local comic shop, buy some stuff. It doesn't have to be us, but it's nice if it is. And then also make sure you get your tickets for Three Rivers, man. It's going to be a good time. We have
yeah.
so many
Despite
people.
what the trolls say,
So many people coming. You know, it's great. You know, and the fact that you can walk up to these creators and just talk to them
Yes,
and not have to pay $60 to get an autograph to do that is
Yes.
awesome. So come out and support. It's gonna be a good time. You know, or if you're there and you don't like it, just go check out Arts Festival or Pride.
yes.
Whatever. Or hang out even later and
It's
try
a
to buy
busy,
scalp
busy
to-
weekend.
buy
It
a
is a
scalped
busy
Kenny
weekend.
Chesney ticket. It'll be fine. So
Yeah, yeah. No pirate game though. So
right,
sad panda.
right.
Although what we
Alright.
almost had a no hitter today.
Almost. So
Almost.
close.
Well, that's what happens when you have a manager who's like, you've 6 innings. I'm gonna just rip you right out. I'm like, we need
All
a new
right.
man. We need new management. That's new ownership, new
Right.
something.
So don't forget to hit the like and the share on YouTube and follow us on socials. And we'll see you in the stores. We'll see you at the